Fabo.
What's up, Felly?
It's the word.
We in the building.
It's been a minute.
Been a minute, but we back at it. You know what I mean?
Sir.
It always feel good when you revisit something that, you always had a good time doing. So when they even told me about coming up, I said, yeah, man, I got to come see Felly. I got to make my rounds. I got to go see Power 106.
You already know.
It's like family, you know what I'm saying? So many years.
We got to chop it up for a hot second in Wyoming
Mm-hmm.
when we were out there for Kanye's deal.
Yeah.
But we didn't really, I know we had a lot of people around us, so now we get to sit down, and I want to start by saying you are probably, and I don't want to, I want to make sure I word this the right way.
Mm-hmm.
You're one of the most, if not the most consistent artists
Mm-hmm.
in hip hop. And, when I think of some artists that have done it and have kept doing it, and, I think of LL,
Mm-hmm.
I think of, Nas, just the work ethic and the consistency of maintaining a brand.
Yeah.
And, man, salute to you, bro.
You said the right word. The key word is that you become a brand after a certain time of what you've been doing. You know what I'm saying? It's not just like, it's the same with you. You come in the game DJing, but you expand yourself as a brand, and your brand speaks for you and what you do. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I guess after a while I started having to maintain and be mindful of, because it's not just you putting out an album. Because now, as you see now, where everything is social, you seeing parts of your lifestyle, you seeing the other outside things that you're doing, you seeing your charity and foundation work, you seeing everything all the way around, family life, personal, everything is included. So it becomes like a brand for yourself. You know what I mean? And that's where the music translated into me is Fabolous is now just a whole, just what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, and from the shows to the music, I mean, you just been,
Yeah.
I noticed stuff like that, and I appreciate you pointing out the same. I'm flattered by that. It's not, people don't understand, it's not easy
Right.
and sometimes it's not what you do, is what you don't do.
Right.
Because a lot of artists
That's the key.
and celebrities in general, actors, there's a check, and they end up doing that movie,
Right.
and they look back in hindsight and say, damn, I shouldn't have did that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been real good at being very selective about what you attach your name and your brand to. And
Definitely.
and I appreciate that, because
But I even believe on the other side, Phil, I think we all have went into something expecting one thing, or it was supposed to be one thing and it came out. But that, I want to encourage people too, that don't let that stop you either. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you do make a misstep, or something don't, something
Work out the
failed,
way
you know
you
what I mean?
thought. Yeah,
Failure
yeah.
sometimes it's just a lesson,
Right.
in the way to continue doing it the next trip. So, at the same time, I have done things that, wasn't exactly what I went into it for, or spiraled a different way after you got into it, but that didn't stop me from,
the way you handled it
reconnecting.
was
Yeah,
how,
you know what I'm saying?
what ends up being the
Word.
difference.
We all human, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything ain't gonna be perfect. Every road ain't gonna go straight to the destination sometimes, and you got to be able to weather that as well. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
And stay yourself.
When you got started, and before we started this interview, you got a call from Clue just randomly,
Yeah.
and it reminds me of how you got started.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just another testament of the consistency with the camp and the people around you. Hasn't changed too much over the years. And what do you like with Clue? You guys still have a creative relationship.
We still have, I mean, it's not the same way to where when I first came in the game, of course. I was kind of like under Clue, and like everything that they said, they were grooming me into being an artist because they had been in the game before me. So in this time now, I've grown as an artist. I've found my niche. I know what works with me. I know what feels good with me. I know how to pick my own beats. I know how to, navigate through my career, especially at this point. So it's not as direct on the creative side, but it's still a bond, a friendship that we've had over, 15 plus years, you know what I'm saying? And it's still like you said, just call, pick up the phone, chop it up, even if it ain't about anything creative. If it's sometimes it is, he was giving me an idea about a creative just now, actually, you know what I'm saying, with something that with a project coming. So it's one thing I attribute to is just the relationships, you know what I'm saying? Like we were just talking about things that keep you around for a long time, and it's the relationships, you know what I'm saying? Relationships go further than sometimes just you hot right now, you know what I mean? Like you keep a relationship or you develop a strong relationship, like we sitting here today, you can always circle back and come back and chop it up with people that you've had a great relationship with, you know what I mean?
What were, prior to meeting Clue and doing all the mixtapes and doing the whole Desert Storm thing, and obviously getting your, the deal with Def Jam, before all of that, what were some of the influences in your life as far as an artist?
Some of my influences was my environment, because I saw how much hip hop connected to my community. Like, you know what I mean? I saw people enjoying themselves. We come from poverty. We come from, struggle and people not having a lot of money and not having a lot of opportunity. But the music sometimes brought people together. You know what I mean? I don't care what kind of event it was. I don't care if it was a barbecue. I don't care if it was playing basketball. If it was just sitting out in front of the building, you know what I mean? Music brought people together, and I saw that union, and that was one of the first things that inspired me about music, was that how, it was like a universal language, so to say. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you black, white, Spanish, music can bring you together.
Yeah, and, music, you see it in politics, now more than ever, I should say hip-hop music. Mm-hmm. What's your feelings on that,
I feel it's grown. It's so universal that like it can't be ignored at this point. So, like you said, you see it in commercials, you see it being talked about on any platform you look at. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop has crept its way in there. You know what I'm saying? Coming from a place where it was an underground thing, where it was something that people didn't even look at as an art form at one time, or people didn't respect it as a culture. So to see it grow all the way around, and when I go do shows in Australia or Japan or Africa, and you see how far and how much hip hop is expanding.
When you see, like, I know recently Bernie Sanders came out to a Travis Scott song. How do you feel when you just hearing me say that?
Sometimes though I feel like they trying to like tap in. You know what I mean? I don't. Sometimes there's a thin line between appreciating and appropriation. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I guess you gotta pick between that. And sometimes we see it, we all see it, and see like, yo, all right now, man, y'all trying to like lean on it just to get some young ears, or like, to make us, even just to make us talk about it now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of thing that gets done. But at the same time, it's how you look at it, is if the cup is halfway full, you know what I'm saying? And it's the way you look at it, really. You know what I'm saying? How
do you feel about Kanye's, recent, I guess I was going to say shift, but I guess it's growth. Mm-hmm. He's just like, we're not the same people that we were 5, 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
Obviously, he's not either. Seeing the change with Kanye, and obviously you guys have a relationship over the years. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about, the Sunday service and, the direction he's kind of gone with his music?
I believe it's just what he's on right now. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, different things change people. Different things they get into. You could read a book sometime and it could change your perspective on what you're doing. The last time I sat down with Kanye, he wasn't on Jesus is King time. You know what I'm saying? But that was a while ago, so it could have been, things have changed in his life. He's experienced something else. He's went out to Wyoming, and you know what I mean, things that you experience and could change you. So I can't question his change. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully it's in good spirit and good health, and I'm applauding him. I applaud change, and I applaud everybody who's trying to do something good. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of Kanye, producers, brings me to producers. What's some of the producers that you're currently working with? I know, Choosy is a song that's taken off for you now. It's got the Afrobeat vibe, mm-hmm. which is starting to come west a little bit more. I know it's mainly been...
Yeah, on the east, it's heavy out there now. The Vito and like all the guys out there, they in New York heavy. So, I definitely felt the influence out there. And and wanted to tap in there. Production wise though, even I've been working with Hitmaker. He's he reside out here and he's from LA, and he's provided a lot of the vibes for the project. But I like to depending the project. I don't like to like get caught in names or like get caught in sounds, because sounds change too. You could be working on a project and working in a certain sound, and by the time you finish the project, the game has shifted and went somewhere else. So I like to work with what I'm vibing with. I like to and I also not like I aim at it, but I like working with young producers. They have like a different hunger too. Like, you know what I mean? They and you also feel like you giving them an opportunity as well. You know what I'm saying? You holding the door open for somebody that, who's trying to get in the game. You know what I'm saying? So I like that experience. I like their energy as well. But not to say that I don't work with big name producers as well. You know what I mean? It's just how it comes, man. Whatever the vibes is, and we connect. Then that's how the music get made.
I kind of touched on this a little earlier. You've always had a good ear, and I know you said more now than in the past. You're picking records, but ultimately it's always been your decision on whether or not you're,
because you gotta feel it. You know what I mean? You don't never want to be on a record that you don't feel. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, every artist has been in that position. Even sometimes you do it, you know what I mean? It might not be your favorite, but it's maybe a favor for somebody, or you had to do it for some, or even if it was a check, you know what I'm saying? Like, but when you feel it, like, that's the best vibe. It's the same thing as a DJ. I'm sure, like, you played songs that you don't care for and you have to play it. And then when you play it, it's organic. You love hearing the record yourself. So, you know what I'm saying? That's the same way it is as an artist.
I try to fuck with the records that are, that I really personally feel, but like you said, sometimes things just get so big for an artist, whether it be the push that was behind the record, maybe it was in a movie, and it just becomes one of these, damn, I gotta play this one.
Yeah.
Not really feeling it, but
right.
And as a DJ, I've learned over the years, when I was younger, I remember, you think you know it all,
fighting against it,
or at least I did. And then I would see a record that I just thought was terrible. 3 months later, I found myself, man, I kind of like this, and I would try to deny it.
Some records are actually set up like that.
No,
you believe that? Like, it's really like, it's a record that people be like, they're not gonna get it when they first hear it,
right? And
then over time, I don't know exactly what records it is, but Drake has a lot of records like that too, where you might not, the first time you hear it, you're like, oh, but then after it just grows on you, and it's just like
stick around the longest. I think another thing I've learned is that sometimes records that I gravitate toward immediately, sometimes tend to go away quicker, and the ones that it took me a minute to kind of, you know what I'm saying, stay around longer. And I think as I've grown as a DJ, I've learned to kind of revisit songs. You not just give them a one-time listen. And there's some you could tell right away. Just like when you listen to a beat, sometimes you could tell right away this is trash.
Let me ask you something as a DJ. Being, you playing records through a couple generations. Like, I feel like the 2000 era, right? Those records are golden, and they kind of like translate for a long period of time. Do you think the records that are coming out today, just because the way, I don't know, I feel like some of these records come and they could be the hottest record in the world, and 3 months later you don't ever want to hear them again. Do you think that the records of this late 2000 era is gonna translate the same way?
I don't know. I've asked the same question because it's one of those things that you think back when you were younger, and you think how your granddad or your dad was like, what is this bullshit y'all are listening to? But it stood the test of time. Are these songs now going to be those, for my kids, for your kids? Are they gonna stand the test of time? It's one of those things where we might not ever know,
right? Because
when that time happens, we're going to be older, and how do we gauge that?
Right.
But
just if it feels classic, those records, I think they had I think also technology taints it a little bit too. We're getting music so
it's allowed
so
for
frequent,
things to
like
just
things are
bam,
more
bam,
microwave, right? Whereas before those records
It was
were
a
living
process.
a lot longer,
Yeah.
and you know what I'm saying. That's one of the reasons why I feel like there's a change.
I
Because,
think it's oven versus microwave,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there's more microwave going on now than there used to be.
Right.
You're heating up the soup in the microwave instead of
cooking it, taking the time, cooking on the stove.
if a song makes it to radio, it's kind of that's the oven. We've watched it cook for a minute. Sometimes whether it be watching what it does in the club, what it does with streaming, and I think once a song makes it to radio, those are the songs that tend to stand the test of time. Whereas a song that may make it in the top 10 or even become number one on Rap Caviar or on Apple Music, sometimes those songs may go away really quick, and you never see them again.
Right.
And I think a lot of people ask me, where do you think radio is going to go? And at this moment, people have already made up their mind whether they're a streamer, digital listeners, so to speak, or are they a terrestrial radio, and I don't think you're going to see too much change in that. I think it's kind of settled.
Is there both? Is there?
Yeah. So most of the time, from what I'm understanding, if you stream, you don't listen to terrestrial radio. If you listen to terrestrial radio, you probably don't stream a lot. And then there's probably a very small percentage of people who do both. Okay. And so and it's funny because I got in a conversation with some folks at Spotify, and I was explaining to them that, hey, you guys should when radio plays a song, like a new Fab song comes out, right? And we play it on Power 106 or Hot 97, and the listener hears it. They know Felly Fell, or they know Clue or Camilo or Enough, or the Leakers, playing the song right now. We're known for playing new music. They know, I love this new Fab song. I know I'm probably not going to hear it again for another 24 hours because the new music shows aren't going to happen again until the next day. Right. So what are they going to do? If they like that new song that they just heard, the only way I'm going to be able to hear it again is go stream it. So, my theory is, terrestrial radio is kind of a billboard to promote the fact that, hey, if you like this song, you can always go
stream it and hear it
anytime you want to hear it, you go stream it. Right. And as I had this conversation with, some of these folks, they were like, what, that's true. Because there was a minute there where the streaming services are getting upset because why are we hearing Felly, why are we hearing Camilo play this song and we don't even have it on Spotify? Right. And it was an issue with the streaming services and the labels and some of the managers who, you know how it is back in the day. Sometimes, if I had a relationship with a manager, an artist manager or an artist,
it go directly.
Mustard email me the new song and I'm playing it.
Right.
And there was, and that still goes on here and there. Not like it did.
Not like it did, yeah.
Because, no artist, no label wants to upset, a monster streaming service, right, which is totally understandable. But anyway, that being said, I think it's a healthy situation for artists. I think it's, there's the love is spread around just in different ways.
Yeah.
And
I think they both influential. You know what I'm saying? It's the reason I still circle around, make stops, and just check in because I think even for artists in my lane, like algorithms and streaming numbers, that's a part of it, but it's also not just direct to who you deal with. It's also not direct to the audience that does it. Stream and stuff every day. So you have to, it's like the best of both worlds, and you have to take care of both sides. You know what I'm saying?
Before we out, I want to play. We're gonna play something called First Things First.
Okay.
So I say a word, you just say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
It's really that simple. First Things First with Fabolous. Hip hop.
Big.
Fabolous.
Diverse.
West Coast.
Weather.
Culture.
Hip hop.
New York.
Mecca.
Mind.
Strong.
Goat.
The best.
Money.
Everywhere.
Family.
Love.
Weed.
High.
Loyalty.
Rare.
Believe that. Soul.
Deep.
Jay-Z.
Brother.
Dominicanos.
Great people.
Relationships.
Worth it.
Free.
Freedom.
Los Angeles.
L.A.
You can say great weather again.
I just as much as I ever see or say Los Angeles, I always say L.A. I never be like I'm going to Los Angeles.
Right. Nobody
So
ever
that's
says
like
I'm
nobody
going to
like
New
you know
York
what I mean.
City.
So even you just saying it now, I'm like Los Angeles, L.A.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why
People say New York, they don't say New York City.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it just always get
Brooklyn.
home.
Kanye West.
Religious.
2020.
Vision.
Donald Trump.
Different. Donald Trump is different.
Definitely
I
different.
just went to Cuba, and they're not really feeling Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Because I think, of course, not think, but you know, Obama is who opened up a lot of the doors for Cuba to be connected to America, and I guess Trump is trying to shut that down. And they like, I was having a conversation with a couple of people there, and they're like, "We don't like Trump."
I mean, that's changed the whole, the tourism, all the money.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
healthy
it's
for the
their
economy.
Yeah, their economy, their families. It's a you never, especially in a country like that that's been ran so strictly and like never even being connected to America, for somebody to come and open that door, and it hasn't been open for years and years and years, and then now right after it somebody can say, nah, we closing the door back again. It's like,
Yeah, it's terrible.
yeah,
Nipsey Hussle.
legend.
Success.
Goals.
Last one, truth.
Lie.
Fab, it's always good to see you,
Always, Felly.
man. And I can't wait to hear, I know you got the album coming out November 29th.
29th,
29th.
Black Friday. Right after you finish, when you're trying to get that turkey out of you, pop some tunes on, catch
Put
them
the
vibes.
earbuds in.
Yeah, you probably tired of turkey full, watched all the football you could watch. Pop on that
I know what I
Summertime
wanted to
Shootout.
ask you. What's your football team?
I usually just root for the New York squads, like.
But you don't
Giants
have
and Jets.
Giants
No,
over
no.
Jets.
I mean, Giants was, especially like I had more friends on the Giants. I was between Sterling and Odell. So I had more friends there, but they got rid of Odell. But I still was trying to like ride home team ride. But I don't know, man.
Baseball?
Our home teams is not looking. Yankees, of course. Yankees had a good year. They came close to going to the World Series.
Knicks or Nets? Are you Brooklyn?
I'm Brooklyn.
How do you
man.
feel about Kyrie, man?
I like Kyrie, man.
I mean, he's
Kyrie's
out
my
right
guy.
now, but
Yeah.
how do you feel about the it seems like every team he goes to, there's a he's not bringing up the locker room. He's always got some type of attitude.
That's what's going on in Brooklyn. I ain't gonna lie, I haven't paid attention to any personal issues that
I got you.
So like I just been watching him play. He came out. He's been a dog. You know, of course.
On the court, he's
KD,
killing it.
Yeah.
But do you think it's, you know, genius straddles the line of crazy? Kind of like, you know, look at somebody like Kanye. He's you know, a lot of people would call him a genius and say that, oh, you know, he's also crazy.
Yeah.
You think there's some truth to?
I mean, I think with some people it takes a lot to understand them, what their, you know, you could be in a relationship with somebody and sometimes the relationship might not be going the right direction because you're not understanding the person that you're dealing with. So like the same thing with artists or a basketball player, like we don't really know. We just, you know, see their talent. We see them come out every night. Kanye, you know, you see his music. His music is genius. He's able to, but his mind and what he thinks and how he reacts to things, you know, may be different. You know what I mean? And it's not right or wrong. It's just him. And if you're gonna understand him and accept him for who he is, then I think that's the way you could go with it. And if you don't, and you don't fuck with it, or you don't like him, like you can just say like, yo, that's not my thing. You know what I'm saying? So
Gotcha.
I think that's how you got to come to an understanding with it. Kyrie, I don't know. I me personally, like, and another thing too, if it's somebody I know, I deal with my personal relationship, so I can't go by what like people are saying on. I don't know him to act crazy. He never act crazy around me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't got that vibe with him, so I can't even like. I could only say like he been a good dude every time I seen him. Like, you know what I mean? He's not. You know, he don't have a big ego. He don't, like, you know, I remember I was somewhere and he came on the other side to where I was and, like, spoke to me and said, what's up? You know what I mean? And some people won't do that just out of, like, I ain't going all the way over there. You know what I mean?
Come see
like,
me. Yeah,
you know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I've said that. Like, you know what I mean? You too far. It's too much. I might be like, yo, it's a lot to get over there. But, like, you know, when somebody actually does that, that also shows you how selfless they are. Like, you know what I mean? So,
you know, there's some humble vibes going on with that.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you're out, you're like, they can come over here and see me.
Yeah.
I think.
Belly was looking like he was thinking back to a time.
No, I can think of a couple times.
Yeah, it's a lot going all the way over there. I've definitely said that. I see a big crowd and you gotta zigzag your way to the other side of downtown LA. Nah,
I come across the room to see you, Pop.
Oh yeah.
Yo, love as always, man.
Always, Felly, man.
Salute.
You take me back just seeing you, man.
Yeah,
so
man.
Always, I hope I do the same for you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got to get back in, man. We got to get back in.
Finer things too.
Let's do it. Till next time, brother.
Yes, sir.